Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Turner, your teacher librarian here at Rio Vista Middle School. Today we're going to be talking about eLibrary, which is another one of our databases that we have here available to you at Rio Vista Middle School. So once again, a quick overview on how to get there. You'll go to our Rio Vista website page, go to either the Student tab or the About Us tab, go to Our Library in the About Us tab, or in the Student tab, go to Library. Once you've clicked there, you'll go to the right-hand side menu and click Reference Desk. That'll take you to this page. Once you're here, you're going to see our Reference Desk library. And you're going to see lots of good stuff, but we're going to go ahead and click just the online databases for right now so we can see how to get there. Once you get to Destiny Discovered, there's lots of good stuff on here, but we're going to forgo all of that and scroll all the way down to the bottom to Learning Links. Remember, you can scroll through Learning Links by either going to the live arrow or See All. We're looking at eLibrary today. Now, if you are trying to log on at home, remember, you must log on using a username and password. Okay, so you have to log on using that username and password. If you don't, you won't be able to get onto eLibrary. If you're here on campus, you do not have to worry about it. You'll get logged on automatically. Now that we're here at eLibrary, let's go ahead and look at a couple things. This looks different than some of our other resources, and to be honest, it's because it's a very what's the word I'm looking for? Academic. It's a very high academic database, which is really great for your items like History Day and Science Fair when you're really needing to look for those primary and secondary sources. So what are some things that you see right on the very front? Well, you see that we have our search bar, which is what you've seen in all of our databases, but what you don't see is a lot of pictures or articles that are right here on the front. The reason for that is because this is really, like I said, a high academic search engine for you. So it really only focuses on what you need. So how do you find what you need? Well, there's a couple of things we're going to go over. You see basic search, you see advanced search, you see publications, browse, or change databases. Don't worry about change databases. Really what we're going to focus on is this basic search and this advanced search for today. And we're going to start with just the basic search. Now, you can see that it is a very basic search bar, which is awesome. You also see that you have down here peer reviewed. Well, what is peer reviewed? Peer reviewed means that if somebody somewhere writes an article or a thesis or a dissertation or a paper about a topic, it means that others in that field have read the article or the paper or the dissertation or the thesis. And what that means is that that paper or thesis has been reviewed and been accepted by others in that field. So that means that if I was an astrologist and I wrote a paper on the stars and I was like, oh, the stars are closer than we think they are. And if one of my peers, another astrologist, were to have read that review, read that article, and they were like, yeah, this lady doesn't know what she's talking about, she's crazy, my article about stars being closer than we think they are would never have made it onto eLibrary because my article was peer reviewed and found to be faulty. So peer-reviewed articles that you find on eLibrary are good articles because they're based on facts and they're based on people agreeing on those facts. So it's a really great way to click peer review if you're looking for something that a lot of people agree on. Remember, the more things you click, the less things you can find, the less things show up in your search. So sometimes it's good just to do this basic search and to not have clicked anything, just to kind of see what comes up. So in this case, let's go ahead and type in just some ideas that you might have. Let's just type in social media. Let's see what comes up. Now in this case, I may not know what I'm looking for. Let's say I chose social media to do as a topic and I don't really know what direction I want to go with. Well, like I said, sometimes doing a big search, a very general search, is a good idea. In this case, I got 3 million hits. That might be too many for me to go through. But let's say I still don't know what I want to look for. Let's say I'm still kind of like, I don't know, let's kind of look and see what we see. So once again, I can either just look straight down and I can see that there's different types of sources that are popping up for me. There's newspapers, there's other sources, wire feeds, you know, there's lots of different types, and you can find out what some of those different types are right here. You can see that you can find different types of sources, such as news sources, wired feeds, trade journals, magazines, scholarly journals, other sources, websites, reports, encyclopedia references, books, and audios. Now, let's say that I want to dwindle down. So I have 3 million hits. Let's say I'm like, I don't want to go through that. That's too many. And I want to dwindle it down. You can come over here to source type, and you can see that I can include or exclude certain sources. Okay. And you can see how many of these I'm going to get, how many hits there are. So let's say that I really just want to see the scholarly journals. I just want to see what things people who are in this field, who are studying social media, are talking about. So I just want to see that. So I can click on that, and it's going to narrow my search. Now at least I only have 100,000 hits. And I can scroll through and I can see the title. Now, what do you see when you're seeing a source? All right, before I even click on it, I can see a couple of things to know if I would want to click on it. I can see the title. I can see the citation, which is another huge thing about using databases versus just looking on the internet. Almost all databases will give you the general citation, which is really important, okay? Citing your sources is an absolute must. If you don't cite it because you didn't write it, then you are in the wrong, okay? You can also see where social media pops up in this article, so I can get a little bit of an idea. You also have some ideas down here, okay? So this is a full text, all right? Sometimes in databases, you only get a small snippet of a newspaper or of an article, but in this case, this is a full text. That means I can read the full thing if I wanted to. I can also see abstract or details. Now, this is really important for a couple things, because let's say that I am not really getting the gist of it, right, by just reading what's on that title page. Well, I click on that, and here I can get an abstract, okay? We also call this a synopsis for if we're looking at a book or like the back of a book, right, when we want to get an idea of what that book's about. So this is going to give you an idea of what this article is about, all right, which is huge. You can also see some other major themes that are found in this article. So like I said, I just did a general search, but maybe once I start reading the abstract and I start looking, okay, this also has to do with child development, the internet, time, child reading practices, symptoms, mental health. And I'm like, ooh, you know what? Maybe I really want to do my research on social media and mental health and how those two are connected. Or let's say I want to do child rearing practices. So let's say I want to do social media and what it means to raise a child in this type of day and age. Those are things that I can now start to connect and say, ooh, maybe this is something I really do want to read. Once again, you can also see that it's been cited in other, once again, peer reviewed, so it's been cited in other areas. Documents shared with references. If a document has references, it's always a really good one. And over here, it'll also show you related materials. All right, what are some other articles or some other sources that relate to this article, which is huge, because if you're looking for History Day or Science Fair or any other project and you're like, I have to get stuff that's the same or similar, then this could be a place for you to really look at and utilize. You can also scroll down and you can search for indexing terms, right? So that's what these subjects or themes were. You can scroll down here and say, oh, you know what? I also, once again, want to look at mental health. And then I can push search, and it'll now search social media and mental health together. Going back to our results and looking back at this filter side, the left-hand side, I can also limit to full text. Remember how I talked about not everything on a database is going to be full text. Some of it will, some of it won't. Or peer-reviewed, which we talked about earlier. I can also look at the publication date. This is really big for our History Day and Science Fair folks. You have to have current sometimes, especially for science. You have to have current information. So let's say that I really don't need everything in 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. Let's say I really just want everything from 2010 up until now. That's been in the last 10 years. I can update my range based on that and give me more information. There's also different ways that you can filter your search: publication title, document type, subject, company organization, location, person, language. You will not always use all of these. Once again, the more you filter, the less you get. And sometimes you filter too much. That does happen. So don't filter too much. Start general, start dwindling down a little bit, try adding one filter and then another filter and then another filter and see where it gets you. Let's look at our advanced search options. Now, advanced search is a way to filter very quickly and instantaneously. I do not suggest using the advanced filter until you've seen my advanced filter video on what are Boolean operators, which is this and, or not, okay, Boolean operators, and how to use them. Okay, and or not are great ways to help you filter very quickly and efficiently. But if, once again, if you don't know how to use them, you can filter too much and you may be filtering out the wrong things. So once again, once you watch my video and you get a little more comfortable with our operators, you can scroll down and you can see once again that I can do source type, document type, or language to be able to filter an advanced search. I do highly suggest eLibrary for ProQuest. I think it is a phenomenal resource to find primary and secondary sources quickly and efficiently, and peer-reviewed sources. If you guys ever need any help, don't ever hesitate to ask. All right, thanks guys. Remember, on the reference desk, you can either get a hold of me by emailing me. I can help you search for sources by filling out this link right here, and you can always find the usernames and passwords for all of our databases on our easel. Thanks guys, have a great day.